Welcome back on yet another session on SRE Demystified. I am Dr. Ganesh presenting to you. In this session, I am going to explain or look at uh, SLOs more closely. So we know SLO is service level objectives. So we have heard in one of our initial videos about SLA, SLA and SLO, service level indicator, service level objectives and service level agreements. So service level indicator is what you see as an indication. Service level objective is what we are striving for internally, and service level agreement is what we have published to our customers or our promises to our customers. So if you do not know about them, please go and watch those videos. Here we are going to look at a little more deep inside SLO. Um, so a well thought SLO help business answer a few important questions. One, how do we prioritize reliability versus other features? Is reliability important at all? If yes, how important it is versus a new feature? Can we release new features and risk breaking the system without significantly impacting users' experience? And finally, how do we weigh operational versus project work? These are the three important questions that an SLO can help you answer. What are some of the characteristics of SLO? So SLOs are user centric, means you should have enough SLOs to measure the attributes of your system that are critical to your user experience. Remember, SLOs are target level of reliability for your users. User happiness must matter the most because happy users will continue to use your service, which drives revenue to the business. As such, define SLOs for aspects of your service that are critical to your user's journey. Second characteristic is challenging but not too challenging. SLOs can drive the daily tasks and priorities of your teams. They clear up uncertainty about whether you need to work on an issue. If you are missing the SLO and exhausting your error budget, you must take action. If not, the team can work on other tasks. Selecting targets that protect reliability but that are most not any higher than necessary protects your flexibility to change things in the future, including trade-offs against reliability. So that is development velocity. Now, specific yet simple. Explicitly state the scope of your SLOs, what they cover, and the conditions under which they are valid. Consider whether you will include invalid user requests as errors, and think about what will happen when a single client spams you with many requests. At the same time, keep SLO as simple as possible. Your system is undoubtedly complex, isn't it? And you can spin your wheels debating the merits of various SLOs. Remember, focus SLOs, especially your first few, on critical operations. Gain experience with just a few SLOs, measure them and modify them over time. And shared sense of SLO ownership. In organizations with successful SLO feature cultures, developers believe that they have a shared responsibility to make the service reliable, and operation teams feel that they have a responsibility to get new features out to the users as quickly as possible. Both teams must agree on the SLOs, and they must recognize that the SLOs are valuable, are an accurate measure of user experience, and need to be defended through trade-offs. If there is disagreement on the points, you will lose the benefits of your SLO as primary driver for decision making. And some best practices: avoid 100% targets and absolutes. It's unrealistic and undesirable to set your SLO as 100. Doing so is definitely going to slow innovation. The number one reason for outages is change to the system, such as pushing new features. If you set a 100% target for reliability, you will never be able to update your service either with new features or with essential updates such as security patches. So, for example, we would not set an SLO for a system that requires it to be always be available while loading infinitely without any latency increase. Building such systems takes a long time and they are expensive, if not impossible, to operate. Base SLOs on current performance if you have nothing else. Typically, we advise that you do not choose SLOs based on current performance unless your current state perfectly meets all your customer and business goals. Basing SLOs on current performance typically means that you are just adopting the values of your system in this current state rather than constructing SLOs that measure the happiness and reflect and align with your business goals. Assume you do not have any other information. It is okay for your starter SLOs to be based on current performance and have a plan to revisit, evaluate and improve by beginning to collect metrics. Group SLOs by user experience. Rather than grouping SLO queries by product elements or by internal implementation details, categorize them based on experience. For example, group direct responses to similar user actions such as HTTP GET request into a single SLO for static content regardless of URI. Create another SLO for background or ancillary responses. You could also establish an SLO for read operation and a different SLO for lower volume but more important write operations. In these cases, the read and write SLOs will likely have different availability and latency targets. A few more best practices. Develop more than one target for some services. So SLO should state how they are measured and the conditions under which they are valid. For maximum clarity, you may need to define multiple grades of SLOs for some type of SLIs. Let's take an example. 90% of get RPC calls will complete in less than 1 millisecond over a rolling 30-day window. And 99% of get RPC calls will complete in less than 10 milliseconds over a rolling 30-day window. Another example. 95% of throughput clients set RPC calls will complete in less than 1 second. And 99% of latency clients set RPC calls with the payloads less than 1 KB will complete in 10 milliseconds. Give yourself a buffer. Set a tighter internal SLO than what you promised to customers. So your SLI should be slightly relaxed than SLO. This buffer will help you act as an early warning system, giving you time to address an issue before it impacts users. This is very important if you have something when you breach your SLA. So if you miss the SLO listed in the SLA, advertising a less restrictive SLO to users will give you a room to accommodate re-implementation and that trade performance for other attributes such as cost or ease of maintenance without disappointing your customers. Need a plan to iterate. Your SLOs are not static measurements of your system that never change. Your first SLIs and SLOs will look very different from the ones you have 6 months, 1 year or 5 years from now. Because your business goals inform SLOs, you should update reliability targets as your business objectives and constraints range. Do not get stuck trying to make your first or fifth attempt perfect. Instead, think of SLOs and SLIs as a constantly evolving lens through which to view your system. So let's look at a deeper look at SLO in one more video. Till then, bye.